The values and beliefs of the Buddhist faith are becoming increasingly popular in the West, drawing more and more followers. One such convert is Tashi, head monk of the Sami Ling Buddhist Centre in the borders of Scotland, who is visiting London to celebrate the first anniversary of their sister centre, Sami Zong.
When I became a monk, you could say I was given a name. It's like your old lay life is finished with, in that way. So you adopt a new name, and my proper name was given to me, which is called Sering Tashi. And Sering means long life, and Tashi means good luck or auspicious. So auspicious long life. And it's something that one has to, when you're given the name, you have to aspire to that. There was a very small Buddhist centre in Birmingham that wasn't in Handsworth, actually, that we used to visit occasionally, and some quite eminent lamas, teachers, Tibetan teachers, visited or passed through Birmingham in the early, mid and late 70s. So when I was a little sprod, then I used to go along, kind of push my way to the front row, and sit there and kind of look at them. And they were very warm, they were very warm-hearted people. They'd always look, smile at you so warmly and so affectionately. And I used to think, God, I'd like to be like that when I grow up, I was very set on being a monk. I wouldn't say there was any, for me there was no other really options. I went to art college and had a jolly good bash at being an art student, and I thought, well, maybe I should become rich and famous, before I retire into my robes. But the more I got involved with that, the more jaded I became, and the more shallow things and meaningless, really. I think it's very good to have a good and proper meaning in life. And so by the time I was 21, I was ready to become a monk.
The atmosphere of this converted Victorian schoolhouse has proven to be a valuable antithesis to the pace and stresses of Western life.
This is Sami Zong here, and Zong means fortress. Sami Ling is the mother monastery in the borders of Scotland, and Sami Ling means the inconceivable place, unimaginable. It's like an oasis. It's a very, very special place. And the Zong means this like outpost or fortress. So this is one of many centres that we have. And there's always, well, it's not like we want, but there's always been a need for a centre in London. Of course, we have, I don't know how many people in London, 15 million people or something like that. And so there's a great need. But the trouble with London, it's so big. And you can have a centre, you may find the centre on one side of the city, but it's very difficult for people to travel right across. And all. Luckily, we found this place here, and it's right in the heart of the British Empire, right on the doorstep of the Church of England. Indeed, His Grace is just next door in Lambeth Palace, and then we can hear when the wind's blowing in the right direction. We can hear Big Ben just over the river there in Westminster, and we're really in the heart here. So wherever you are in London, it's very easy to get to. The training design work has led me to doing the work here. And of course, to establish this centre, we needed a very good shrine room. It's rather like a jewel, to attract people and for people to be able to sit in a very nice environment. You want to encourage yourself as much as possible in the art of meditation, to have a very conducive, quiet space, very rich and comfortable in that way, and to in many ways to preserve the great ancient culture of Tibetan Buddhism, to help preserve that as well. So this is one of my first jobs, to help with the centre here, to do all the decorations, and such as on the shrine. You see there's lots of gold and silver leaf work in this sort of floral patterns, and likewise the frieze, which was actually silkscreen printed up in Scotland itself and then brought down here and pasted up. And And then on the shrine itself, above the shrine, there's some gold and silver work, but actually it's piped in as well. So it's actually raised a little bit. There's highlights the gold. It catches in the light very nicely in that way. And I still have to finish that. And likewise, we will be using the same sort of techniques in the new tea rooms that we're going to open here. At the moment, it's a real wreck of a building. There's a lot of work to do on it. It was squatted, and it's full of all these things and a lot of rubbish, and one wall's falling down, and there's a lot of work we have to do. But that's great to have the challenge. It's good. To meditate, you acquire through a natural process of letting go, of giving up. You acquire an inner peace, an inner well-being, inner happiness. And if you have that inside, then it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in London like here or wherever, you have that inner peace, inner stability. And the more you practice that, the more you have it in yourself. And the more you can actually do. Less stress. It's been an interesting one, this thing about being a Tibetan Buddhist monk in the Western world. Of course, I'm not Tibetan, but I wear the traditional Tibetan robes and practice in the traditional Tibetan way. I feel very much like a pioneer. It's certainly not happened in the West before. Buddhism at best has only really been here for the past 30 to 40 years, maybe 50 years, and it's still very new here. And so all the time, speaking for myself and speaking for others as well, Buddhist monks and nuns, we're always coming across new areas, new frontiers, new challenges. And it's very, very interesting. Sometimes quite challenging, quite difficult. So it's kind of a little bit exciting in that way. And there's many aspects that we have to deal with, like the language and the cultural habit of mind, like us of Westerners. We have this heavy burden of guilt, the rights and wrongs, and like in the East, in Tibet, there's no such word as guilt. There's regret, but not this sort of ball and chain guilt that sort of we drag around. So there's lots of cultural differences, and it's learning how to practice Buddhism, how to embody it, and how to portray it in a Western way, in a Western language, but without losing its true essence. And for myself, I'm just a bit of a silly monk, really. I don't really know very much, and I still need to learn a lot more. I still need to acquire a lot more wisdom in order to do that. So yeah, you feel like a pioneer.
Even when he leaves the centre, Tashi remains in the traditional robes. In such a cosmopolitan city, a Tibetan monk still raises a few eyebrows.
You're not going to actually do it, yeah. You like them nice and straight.
Tomorrow, Tashi leaves for Nepal. He's been sent on a shopping excursion to fully equip both centres in London and Scotland. But first, he needs to do some shopping of his own.
That's good. This brim is a little bigger. It's not very broad. Well, I'll change the colour of the band. Which style is that? Oh, no, that's better. This one, I don't like the style. Gangster monk. Okay, I'll take this one. Where do I sign? Just at the bottom, please. as well as the art and design work there, then I run one of the departments, is what we call the robes department, where we actually make monks and nuns' robes in the traditional manner, which is all Buddha design, 2,560 years old. You know, so some people say it's fashion, but it's not at all. It's very practical. But people rather like them. Some people say, are they comfortable? And they are. They're very conducive to the practice of meditation, and quite good up in Scotland as well. You know, it's a very long kilt. It's like walking around in bed all day, you can say. They're very comfortable. I guess the skills that I've developed are skills of being a monk, I suppose. There's many skills. As I said before, it's very varied, a very colourful lifestyle. It's not at all kind of doer as one would expect. You know, it's no good comparing Tibetan Buddhist monks, especially to Catholic monks. You know. In that way, but for sure our lifestyle is supposed to be more simple. However, Tibetan Buddhism is very rich, very diverse, and we have to learn, as well as the chanting in Tibetan, which is very varied as well, some with very beautiful tunes. We have to learn musical instruments. There's many rituals, there's many aspects of the faith to learn in that way. But of course, moreover, to learn a skill in meditation. That's the root, that's the basis of everything. There's a great need for ordinary loving kindness, ordinary human affection, honesty, openness of heart. There's a great need for that. And I think people generally tend to shy away from, you know, religion in that way. And although, yeah, okay, I'm a monk in robes and all that sort of thing, I wouldn't necessarily call myself a religious person. You know, the word religion has a lot of heavy connotations, and people tend to be a bit frightened of it, and I don't blame them in that way. So Buddhism is as much a philosophy, it's as much a way of life, and I think it's as well as taking to full liberation, full freedom of oneself, in oneself, then it gives you good basic ethics and morals, you know, not goody two-shoes sort of morals, but you know, good wholesome areas of ourselves that we seem to be greatly lacking in the West, and I think that's why it's popular. And whether I'll always be a monk or not, I don't know. Who knows? You know, I think I survived so far. So this old kind of war-battered monk. I've survived so far because I take it from day to day. But I'll be quite happy from where I sit now. I'll be quite happy to be a monk for the rest of my life. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You know, you could turn the corner and there's the person, the long-lost person, the person you've been waiting for, you know, to fall in love with. I'm not sure that really exists, you know. Or there's a political change in the country and then I'm forced to give my robes up, or who knows, you just don't know. Pastimes. No, not really, no. Shopping for hats.